Good.
I'll be back.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Small group here, so that's all right. So how many of you guys, since the start of Wyatt, June 13th, have maybe talked to a customer, been handling them, they're asking, where's my stuff at? And you probably gave them an answer and were a little unsure that that answer was even correct. Right, everybody? I know everybody's done it. So Lauren, we have her here today, which is awesome because she does our must ship list, pretty much knows the ins and outs of how to handle any order. So she's going to share some information with you that will hopefully be helpful. The other side of that is CLM. So how many of us have not used CLM because it's either not worked properly, it's been clunky, so we haven't logged information in due to that. Right? Yep, everybody. So Mitch does a really good job of using that program and knows it about as well as anybody. So he will be sharing some tips and tricks to make that your lives a little bit easier as far as CLM goes. So we'll start with Mitch. He'll take over the CLM part. Hopefully you guys will learn a few things to take away from that.
All right, well, let's get started. Well, CLM, as he kind of alluded to, we aren't using it as much as we probably should. This is the chart that they showed you yesterday. I dropped my thing here. Shows you it's about 100,000 activities that were logged last year that we didn't log this year. We were about 121,000 last December and about 21,000 this December. So obviously part of that was because Wyatt wasn't functioning properly. But now it's actually working. They've got some of the things fixed, so we need to start doing our part, start logging calls, logging tasks, logging activities, and everything like that. So first thing, you guys all know where to put notes on an account? There's a notebook. I know if you were here with Imagine, it was right there in front of you. It showed you where the any urgent notes that you could put in there. But we do have that, it's just not right in front of you. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to double click on the account when you're in the customer dashboard, and then you'll click where it says notebook there. That'll bring you to this page, where you can put any sort of notes, maybe how to pronounce the customer's name, if they coach another sport, any sort of notes you want to put on there, maybe their kids' names or something like that. That way when you call them back or when someone else calls them back, you can just go up there, go to the notepad, see those notes, and that way kind of helps you out, makes it a little more personable for the customer. Logging calls and emails, definitely something you've probably been hounded on today. Definitely need to start doing that. Log every single call. That's pretty important for obvious reasons. If Fry takes a call, he doesn't log it, I get the same customer 15 minutes later. They call in, they're like, hey, I talked to some guy. I don't know who it was some guy. I mean, we've all heard that phone call. That'll help me. I can just pull up the account. It's like, oh yeah, it was Aaron Fry. Let me get you right back over to him. That way the customer doesn't have to start all over again, and that way you don't have to try to guess what they're talking about. So log call, at the very least, we want to make sure you're at least logging something in the system. So log a call. Ideally, you want to put all the notes about the call, what you talked about, pricing, anything like that. But the very, very least, at least log something that you talked to the customer, so put a call in there. Emails, supposed to be logging your emails too, so make sure we're all doing that. I know they sent out a few weeks ago how to do that and log those into CLM as well. So make sure we're logging our calls and our emails. One thing I do, one little tip that I like to use when I pull up the customer dashboard right off the bat, it's tough for me to look at activities and see what's going on. So what I like to do, I'll do a priority for my tasks, and I won't do a priority for my logged emails and logged calls. That way when I pull up the customer, as you can see here, I've got a task at the top of the screen, but I can also see where I emailed them without having to go into the activities section of your customer dashboard to see all that. So just kind of helps organize, because sometimes I look at that and it seems like a jumbled mess. So it's just a little thing that I like to use. Tasks, we want to make sure that everyone's doing tasks. That's one thing that we kind of got away from. Need to start doing tasks again. The big thing with tasks is, for me, it was just getting started on doing them. So start setting them up for your follow-ups, start setting up for next year, make sure every single account has a task set up for some point in the future, and that way you can better get in touch with our customers. I was actually really amazed at how many customers relied on us to contact them to order compared to what you would think them just calling us. So definitely want to make sure we're doing that. We're logging tasks and actually completing them. One thing, if you have been here for a while and you have a lot of tasks that are in the system in your name, what I recommend doing is starting at today and completing today's tasks, do those, and then work your way backwards. And that way you're not starting from June and moving forwards, and you can take care of what you need to today. And then you can start setting them and just do that every day. And then as much as you can get done with the past ones, moving those, you can get that to it as you can. But definitely want to try to start doing those so that everyone's kind of on the same page with tasks. This is the SR activity screen. You've probably seen it earlier today when they were showing it. Really awesome, just came out with this week. Really cool thing about it, you can just pull up the tasks, you can see your task here, you can click on your notebook, and you can also go to, up here is the customer, you can check out the customer's account, check out their contact information, see where they're from and everything. And that's really easy, it's all on one screen, you don't have to flip back and forth from screen to screen. And then you can actually even move the task from there without even going to another screen. So it's pretty handy. Opportunities are definitely big. Want to make sure everyone's setting up opportunities. Every single time you place an order, we'll want you to put in an opportunity. And then anytime you talk about any sort of order or what the customer's looking at, we definitely want to put an opportunity in. And then even if they aren't going to order with us, but they ordered from another company, you want to put a closed lost opportunity in there as well. One benefit with opportunity, I'm going to pull up, I actually had a call yesterday that was a cheer customer, and I got him, and thanks to Angela putting in great notes on an opportunity, I was able to service the customer, get the order taken care of. So I got this call from this lady, and she's like, I'm ready to place my order. I've got everything ready to go. I can't wait on Angela to get back to her desk. I have to place the order now. I was like, okay, well, what are you looking to order? She's like, well, I don't know. Angela has all that figured out. And I was like, well, okay, do you know anything that you're looking to order? It's like, well, it's warm-ups. Well, which warm-up are you looking at? I don't know. She sent me the price, sent me everything. Like, okay, well, luckily, Angela had put awesome notes. And so I pulled up the op screen, see she had an op in the system for some warm-ups, pulled it here, and she had noted out the item that they were looking at, the right chest artwork, personalizations, the full back design, the left chest design, all the prices, the left leg design, and even the custom art fee and had the total on there. So I was able to help the customer out based on that when the customer had no idea what she was looking at, which is great for the customer, it's great for Angela, it's even great for myself, so I don't just let the customer off the hook and I was like, well, you're going to have to wait for her, and makes her angry. But because of her awesome notes, I was able to put the order in, close the op, get that taken care of so that the customer didn't have to wait for Angela to get back to her desk. So opportunities are big. It just kind of just shows you the opportunity screen there. If you want to pull that up, they've got that SR opportunity open up as well. Now, marketing area, they kind of showed you before. Does everyone know where the marketing area is? How to get there? I'll just show you for fun. Let's just do it. So if I go to that same account, you can pull it up and see, again, you want to double click, and then you click where it says business area. And that has her being the high school cheer coach. So okay, that's great. Well, maybe she's also the volleyball coach. So I can add volleyball on there too so that she gets each market, and that'll help out both marketing, so when they're sending their emails and catalogs, they send them based on what was written in that business area, what's put in there. So if there's nothing in there, then that customer's not getting catalogs, they're not going to get the right emails. And that's huge for marketing to know. It's huge for us too, so when we go on there, we can just pull that up and see, okay, maybe they're the football coach and the basketball coach. So I can know they do multiple sports, and really key for us to start doing that. And you want to check, especially new customers that were put into Wyatt, not all of them have a marketing area. So I know a lot of the Imagine ones were loaded over, but for sure for any Wyatt customers you have, definitely look in there. I'd just suggest any one you pull up for the near future, start looking at them. So that shows you the business area. search tips. I'll go over this real quick. A lot of you probably have this figured out by now, but CLM works basically the exact same way as like a Google search will work. And so basically what you can do when you're searching for a customer, I got a guy on the phone, he says his name's Gary Davis. Okay, search Gary Davis in customer dashboard. What does that pull up? Everything with the word Gary, everything with the word Davis. Like first one here, Gary Lesko, he lives on Davis Road. That's not who I'm looking for at all. So one thing you can do, if I know he's Gary Davis from Central High School, just type in Gary Davis Central. That pulls him right up. Perfect, there we go. And one other thing, if you maybe don't know his high school, obviously you can search by phone number, you can search by email address, that's another key way to do it. But you can even put his name in parentheses. That'll pull up all the Gary Davises and not all the ones with Gary and Davis somewhere else on the account. So that's pretty helpful there. Here's just some general Wyatt tips. One thing that I like to do when I have my screen pulled up is I have mine moved, and you can actually change them. I'll show you real quick here. I don't know if you kind of saw it before when I had it pulled up, but I have these. You can resize these, and I have them resized so that they're under this little toolbar up here. And so that way if I need to go to the sales order dashboard, I can just pull that up real quick here. And then I can go back to customer dashboard. Since we've got so many programs, it's definitely helpful to do that. And for me anyway, so I can go from one program to the other real quick without having to minimize one, pull another one back up. That kind of shows you there how you can do that. The multiple programs at once. How many of you guys are using 2 Wyatts right now? You can use one on each screen maybe. That's not good. We're not supposed to be doing that. I know we were doing that right off the bat. I was doing it up till last month until I found out. We are not supposed to be using 2 Wyatts, and the reason is that it messes up a bunch of things. It messes up the logging of calls and emails. It messes up 610. I think Andy was in here earlier. He said it locks up accounts in 610 for a 24-hour period. And he rattled off a bunch of other stuff that I don't really remember off the top of my head. Bottom line is it does a lot of things that it's not good. So you definitely want to try to just keep it to 1 Wyatt, which I know is, for me, it was really tough to get used to. But once you actually start using 1 Wyatt, what you can actually do is you can change one of your programs to go to the other screen. And so you can do that by clicking the detach button, which is right up here, and that'll unlock it. You can drag it over to the other screen. And I do my customer dashboard and my sales order dashboard on my right screen, and then I got all my other programs on my other one. So I can look at the customer's account while looking up their order or doing anything else that way is just kind of how I like to do that. Launching programs at startup. This is a really, really cool deal, and finding out not a lot of people know about it. I didn't know about it for a few weeks. What you can actually do is when you have programs pulled up, you right-click on the program and you just click Launch at Startup. What that's going to do is the next time you pull up Wyatt, it's going to automatically load those programs. So you don't have to double-click on that program again to open it back up. And since we use a bunch of programs, I found that's huge because I have 6 or 7 just saved, and they'll just pull up. As soon as I come in the morning, pulls up. It's in the order I want it to be in. I don't have to move them around or do anything like that. So.
I have a question on that, Mitch.
Yeah.
I'm kind of an OCD person, and I like to have all of my programs at the top in the same order every day.
Yeah.
So then I can navigate the same way every day. Is there a way to, does it memorize that, or is there a way?
It'll pull up in whatever order you had it in when you saved it.
Nice.
It'll pull it up that way. And so yeah, it's pretty. I'm the exact same way. I like them in the exact same order. So I know 300's right here. I can go to customer dashboard there. So it'll definitely do that. So that's just one neat little deal, and it's really easy to do. So that'll help you out when you come in the morning. Quick keys. The one I want to touch on is Control-Alt-Spacebar. That's one that I just learned about. Been using a ton since I learned about it. Obviously, we've got a ton of programs. If you've got them all pulled up, you want to get back to your canvas to maybe open another program. Do something else, you hit Control-Alt-Spacebar, it'll close everything, and it'll take you right to your canvas, so that way, real easy deal, so you don't have to click minimize, 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 and waste a bunch of time. It's a real easy quick key. Other ones up here too, but that's the one I definitely wanted to touch upon. So, now I'm going to pass it off to Lauren, who's going to tell you a little more information about orders and how to track them and everything like that.
Yeah. Okay, so does everyone already use the sales order dashboard? Okay, great. Just in case, I know it's kind of in a weird spot, so you'll find it in the navigator under mashups. And it's seriously, it's my favorite program in Wyatt, not gonna lie. MO lookup, this is a really good way to be able to tell what's going on with the order. Has it started production, is it stuck in ART? You'll be able to see the dates that all happened. It just gives you it's a good way to give your customers the proper expectations for your order. So production statuses, I'm not gonna touch this too much, but the higher the status on each production step, the farther it is in production. So 90 is complete, and then it goes down from there. And we will be sending out this later, so you'll be able to see all those other ones, random ones on there. Production art and invoice dates. This is a really good way to be able to tell if your order's stuck, if it's been in production for like a month, or to see when they approved art, things like that, to figure out why your order hasn't left, or just an idea of what's going on with it. I know Ben and Andy touched on this morning, but in the sales order dashboard for art dates, you can hover over the order progress bars, and it's going to show you a date by year, month, and then day. Currently, it only shows 6 a.m., so just ignore that. It's not going to give you the proper time. For production dates, I'm actually going to show you that in Wyatt. It's a little tricky to get to the first time if you're not used to doing it. So go ahead and pull your order up in the sales order dashboard. I already have one loaded that's actually partially invoiced. So we're going to pull it open in MO Lookup and then click on the product line. If you like quick keys, it's Control 11, but otherwise you'll go to related options and then materials and operation. From this page, only the first time you get into it, you'll have to go to actions and more info to get it to look like my screen. We want it to look like my screen because it's going to show us 2 dates here, the first report date and the latest report date. And that comes in handy when you have rejects or back orders, so you know when it went back through production the second time. So looking at this order, we can see this only went through production once because those dates are the same. And also, this actually is a really good order of there's one weird production status on here. This order partially invoiced one of the lines, meaning we produced one, but we still have a couple left. It shows as a status 70. If you ever are looking at that in the operations, that means this line has been partially produced and invoiced, but it still has to go through again. It hasn't. So when this goes back through production, this will change to status 60, and these will all stay 70. It looks kind of weird when you actually catch one happening. And then invoicing dates. This is really important to know, like when your order hit the truck, if it's going to actually leave today or if it's going to leave tomorrow. We actually have to go into a completely separate program for this. It's called MWS 070. When you pull it open, you're going to want to change to sorting order 60. And so you can, actually, I'm going to just pull up an order and show you myself. It'll be a little easier to understand. So I actually already have one pulled up. And what's nice about this is it goes line by line. So if there was a back order or something like that, that invoice at a separate date, it's going to show, you'll be able to see that all right here. When we're looking at an order, we search for it. If it's not here, it hasn't invoiced yet. But if you do find it, we're going to check the transaction type column and look for 31, which means that boxing has confirmed it. The 92 and 93 are picking statuses, and those have nothing. Those won't give you any relevant info for when your order's actually leaving. And then we'll check the date. So this one left on January 2nd, 2015 at 10:50 p.m. It's military time, so sorry about that. It always tricks me. operation descriptions. I'm not gonna touch this too much, but this is a good way, like if you've ever looked at logs going through production, not really sure what's going on, you can see that each of the production steps, if it like EMP pod 1 through 4 is always standard embroidery and all that. And then heat transfers, I have descriptions of what's actually happening at each step, just for your guys' info. You'll be able to see that when we send it out. And checking orders, I do the must ship list, so I check anywhere from 60 to 100 orders a day. And these are things that I do to help make it a little faster on myself. It usually doesn't take me more than half hour, depending on how many I actually get. Identifying orders with no MOs. There's a really simple way to do it when you're looking in the sales order dashboard. I'm actually going to pull up a couple so you can see it. So ones with no MOs will show absolutely nothing in the allocation column because how allocations work, it ties to the manufacturing order. So if there isn't one, there's nothing for it to allocate. So we can see here that this is completely empty. And then we can verify by going to the MO lookup. And it's still showing production steps from the last order I looked at, but if we try to refresh this page here, there's nothing popping up. The only downside to using this trick is the discontinued products show up the exact same way. But that's why we'll go to the MO lookup. We'll be able to verify through there that it has an MO, but there's nothing here. So this is discontinued, out of stock. We're never going to be able to sell it, but we could change this order to ship partial and still produce it. The ones with no MOs, we will have to fix it or remove the line because we won't be able to move on from that point. And SAS 10s. I like to do this in OIS 300. What I do is search for the order and then click on the order hyperlink to take me to 301. I always pull up right-click the SAS 10 line and then go to order line configuration order. So you can see here that this jacket was configured with a left chest, but you can also see up here it has a right chest on it, but there's no configuration info on here. So this SAS 10 would need to be rekeyed if it hasn't made it to production yet, because when this hits production, they'll be able to see the names and probably the font color, but they won't be able to tell the font size, placement, or font. So this could really hold up your order if they have it in production or just waiting for those answers, because they're not just going to produce something random on there. Do you guys have any questions for us, CLM related or order?
Yeah, what was that MWS070 again? What was that for?
That's when you check to see when an order invoices. The
Okay.
date it actually, when boxing confirms it and has it ready to go on the truck.
Oh,
So that's really good if it's getting close to 5:30 to see if it's actually gonna leave today or if it's gonna leave tomorrow.
okay.
Or researching into an order, say the customer, it says an invoice, it was sent to ground, never left. Or the customer says they haven't received it yet. This will at least give you some more research on it, figure out what's going on with the order.
Cool.
How do you log a phone call?
Manually, you go to an activity and you just add
wanna
one.
show 'em?
Yeah, I'll just show you real quick. I really hope they get something automated because that's obviously going to be a lot easier. But for now, the only way to do it is you pull up the customer dashboard. You can click here, just add an activity, and there's actually an activity type that's call. So you select call, type in whatever you want, and anytime you do that, you're going to want to click done and then completed. And that way, when you go through your past tasks and everything, it's not going to show up there.
Put your
So,
notes in the notebook.
Yeah, you can put your notes in a notebook, and you type whatever you guys talked about, and you can put here, just put,
Alright.
called
makes
in
sense.
or left message or something like that. So,
Angry needs manager, I see those too,
Yeah.
so follow up on those, anything like that.
yeah.
It's easy.
subject information. I know Ben and Andy talked about that. That's an important thing. It gives you an overview.
And as I say, the worst case scenario, if you just add one real quick, it's got your name on it, just put
Bullet
call.
on that task.
You can even do that while you're on the phone with them. I know you don't really want to multitask, but if you got a quick second or they've got you on hold, just do that real quick, and then you can add the notes later. But at least then it shows that you're the one that called them, or you're the one that talked to them. So, any other questions? Awesome.
Well,
I think it's all we
you guys
had.
will know where everybody's at, so.